Alright, so now let's take a look if we have to solve a system and the system has 3 equations in it instead of 2. So I want to try and eliminate one variable first. So I look at my coefficients. I've got a -3, a -3, and a 2. Here I've got a 3, a 2, and a 3. In this case I've got a -3 and a 1 and a 3. So because of this combination, I'm going to try and get rid of the z first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take equation 1 and equation 3 and I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to do that right here. Equation 1 is -3x plus 3y minus 3z is equal to 0. And then equation 3 is 2x plus 3y plus 3z is equal to -7. And I'm just going to add these two equations together. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have opposite coefficients here. So I'm going to get -x plus 6y is equal to -7. And so now I have an equation that only has x's and y's, no more z's. So now I need a second equation that eliminates the z's. So I used equations 1 and 3 together. So now I need to use another combination. So I see that if I take equation 2 and I multiply it by 3, then I'd have opposite coefficients here. So I'm going to take equation 1 and keep it just the way it's written. -3x plus 3y minus 3z is equal to 0. And I'm going to take equation 2 and I'm going to multiply it by 3. So I'm going to get -9x multiplying this equation 2 by 3 So, I'm so sorry, just my mind went blank for a minute. So I'm going to get 6y, and then I'm going to have plus 3z, and I'm going to have equals -21. So now I'm going to add these two equations together. So I'm going to get -12x plus 9y, and here my z's add up to 0, and then I get -21. So now I've got these two equations that no longer have a z in them. So now I want these two equations to add up to 0 on one of my other coefficients. So since I've got a -1 here and a -12, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation right here and I'm going to multiply it by -12. The reason I'm doing that is so that this becomes a +12 and it can add with this and be 0. So I'm going to get 12x, and then -12 times 6 gives me -72y, and then -12 times -7 gives me +84. And then I add these two equations together, and I get 0x here, which is lovely, and then I get -63y equals 63. And so then I divide by -63, divide by -63, and y is equal to -1. So now that I've found y, I need to go back and find x and z. So since this little equation right here has the smallest numbers, I'm going to plug my -1 in here. So I have -x plus 6 times -1 is equal to -7. So I've got -x minus 6 is equal to -7. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. -x is equal to -1. Divide both sides by -1. And x is equal to 1. Alright, so now that I know what x and y are, I can plug those in and find z. So I'm going to take my middle equation here, and I'm going to take -3 and plug in a 1 for x, plus 2 and plug in a -1 for y, plus z is equal to -7. Sorry, let's move that up. And I get negative 3 plus negative 2 plus z is equal to negative 7. So I have negative 5 plus z is equal to negative 7. Then I add 5 to both sides, and z is equal to negative 2. Now, I can go plug these numbers in to my 3 different equations, and they should come out true for all 3.